And we are live. This is real Orlando living. Today we're kind of different in our approach. I have a special guest with me, Mr. Andrew
Andrew Webb.
Webb. Let's go. Let's go.
Honor. It's an
So
honor.
I'm glad to finally have you on this on the live. We haven't done one in a long time, bro, have we?
Too long. Been busy, right?
We have.
I've been busy. You've been busy doing lives. I've been slacking.
No, I've seen you out there, helping the public, helping a lot of realtors in I see West the Volusia and Sanford and Lake Mary. I mean, you're staying busy out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's enough out there in terms of in my world. There's a lot of digital, but the home or the real estate in general is very, what's the word? You always have good words for stuff like this. A personalized, intimate experience. And so being hands on is like huge. So I will never give that up. I'm always going to be, pounding the pavement, so to speak, meeting people in person and stuff. That's just my opinion. But
So today's live, I have a mortgage expert on. What are we going to talk about? Well, we're going to talk about things like, why is it so expensive right now to buy a house? Why is it so expensive to buy just about anything? What does that mean to everybody here in Orlando, like with living wise? And, we're going to change the paradigm a little bit on what it means to survive in the current market. And I couldn't think of a better person other than Andrew to talk about this, man.
thank you.
So without further ado, let's go into the first one. I want to go into our first screen here. Bear with me. This is my first time hosting. Usually I got Tremaine with me, and he's like the man. Hold up. All right. So this is crazy right here. This meme has been going around for the last, I want to say the last week or two. And I mean, it's caused quite the ruckus, should we say. I remember growing up, Andrew, I remember thinking to myself, man, if I made $100,000 a year, that was always in my head. I remember being in the military and it was like, oh man, my first paycheck, I was making like $1,200 a month. And then I got it to $1,800 a month when I made E5. And I was like, man, I'm doing super good. I'm doing better than my peers. I can't wait till I make $100,000. Well, little do I know that those days are over with, bro.
So says the meme.
So this meme right here is showing is super telling. It says from 32,000 and below. 32,000 and below, you are broke. I don't want to laugh at that. I mean, what's 32? What is that an hour, bro? On a 40-hour work week. 32,000.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah, you're the math
Coming
guy.
right
What
up.
is that?
Yeah. This is my a. I got you. 32,000 a year.
Yeah, what is that an hour with a 40-hour work week? People
15,
who are working.
1538. 1538. 40-hour work week. 52
So
a year.
if you're making 15.38 an hour, which right now it's like people working at McDonald's, people working at fast food joints, the first people out to work, you're broke. I mean, I remember being broke. I kind of agree with
Yeah.
that. The next level is very poor, which is 32,000 to 53,000. I mean, 53, that's teacher wages, that's police officers. That's the mass majority of our civil servants. They're around this level.
25 an hour. I know
That's
I know some entry level nurses, things like that. Entry level that are starting off there. Yeah.
so they're, I mean, this chart will put them at super poor. No, excuse me, very poor. I like the word super, so I use that all the time. And then they call now middle class. This is our coveted middle class. They call them under poor. What? So that's between $53,000 and $106,000 in income, which right now that's the mass majority of our professionals, what I consider professionals. Or should I be reimagining this? And by the way,
No.
if you're joining us right now, leave a comment. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if they're wrong here. You know, if they're tripping, let me know. I would like to know your input on this. But Andrew, what do you think about this?
I mean, from the finance side, I'm getting to see people's qualifications, right? There's no more process. There's no process out there that's more invasive in someone's personal financial picture than a mortgage process. So the numbers you're presenting, this meme is throwing out there, it's kind of hard to argue with the affordability aspect of those salary caps or those salary amounts. I mean, it's not uncommon for me to see someone that's making $70,000 struggling to pay rent and maybe even qualify for a mortgage, right? So yeah, I mean, I think it's in line for sure with what I'm seeing, at least on my end.
The fact that they're putting middle class as poor is concerning to me.
Mm-hmm.
Calling middle, what we call middle class, calling them poor. What the heck? What are we working for? And then $106,000 a year. I mean, that's two cops, a nurse and a nurse and a cop or a firefighter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Middle managers, and then this is the crazier part. This is the crazier part to me, and this is what I labeled our thumbnail as: 106 to $373,000. That's such a huge. That's more than triple. They're
Mm-hmm.
saying this huge swath of people that are making under $400,000 a year are just surviving.
Survivalist. Tell me the range again, one more time.
It's 106 to $373,000 a
Oh,
year.
okay. Okay. Surviving.
So I think their term surviving is interesting here.
Mm.
And I talked about this a lot. So shout out to the young lady in my office. I'm not gonna say your name, but she's young, still living with her parents. Well, let me not say that. Let me not. But she wears Gucci belts. She has Gucci belt on. She's got Steve McQueen's, what do we call him? Alexander McQueen's. Like, I sound ridiculous talking here. Designer shoes. Drives a super cool vehicle. Goes on vacations. Goes to nice restaurants. In her 20s, bro. And I'm like, I never got to do that in my 20s. Is that surviving?
Interesting. I mean, in America, in America, it's a great lifestyle, but it's in America. I mean, that sounds like a good life, though. I mean, do we know how much she's making though?
Well, I happen to know how much she's making, but period. In general, we see ourselves. Luxury brands have skyrocketed in the last 4 or 5 years in value. So they have. I mean, there's that old saying, don't add guac to your tacos. Is because of that. Because people who add guac, they got the money like this. But to me, surviving is relative. When you at
Yeah.
106,000 and 373,000, are you going on vacations every year? Yeah. Are you saving up? Oh, this is a good question. Are you saving up for retirement?
Based on what you know you're supposed to be ending up with in retirement. Not just a number that you feel it feels good every 2 weeks or whenever you have it drafted, but saving towards a goal because that goal in the United States, that goal is a bigger number than most people realize. I mean, that retirement number is substantial.
So,
So,
you and I both know we have clients right now that make over $200,000 a year that
mhm,
are still living
mhm,
paycheck to paycheck.
mhm.
They're
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
supporting children, paying off student loans, you name it. And then the big piece is the house piece. And by the way, the last part of this, it says the rich. The rich people are now middle class, and that's 373,000 and up. So if I were to guess, that's probably 373,000 to about $1 million a year, which it's a very low part. That's the top 1% now. And they call it the top 1% middle class because there's an even upper crust to that know no bounds. Those guys don't even live in particular cities. They live anywhere they want to.
Mm-hmm. I mean, can we break down the average cost for the common things that people let's just say someone's living the American lifestyle, okay? Can we
Uh-huh.
break down real quick? Just improv here. Let's break down what that looks like. Someone that's living the way you would want to live in the American dream, which we all value and treasure very much. Let's talk about that. I mean, starting off, it's basic housing, right? Which I may be jumping ahead here, but
No,
ba-
go for it.
basic housing. Okay. I mean, what is the average price point? Depends on where you live, but let's just say basic housing. Say it's not your first home, right? We're talking about someone that's established, American dream, right? You've got a $500,000 home, 400,000, $500,000, $600,000 house. Is that fair from your real estate
I
side of
mean,
things?
when I see that, I see 140, 160 a year. They're
Okay.
buying that kind of house. Am I wrong?
Yep.
So you bring your affordability calculator out. What does that look like?
Oh man. Okay. Okay.
Let's put
We
you
could
to
do that.
work.
We could do that. We could do that. So what I'm thinking is, let me pull this up here because I had this queued up, and then let me figure out how to do this. Can you activate my screen share,
Nope. We
or
didn't.
do I have to do it? Okay, I gotta do it. No
No,
worries.
no.
No worries. We're live, so you guys, like you said, bear with us. Here we go. Screen share.
I'm not adding.
All
You want
right.
me to add your screen share right now on the fly, bro? What do you think I am?
Yeah, yeah, I got it. Okay. I got it right here. Right here. All right, here we go. Boom. Can we see this?
You want me to add your screen share right now, live?
We got it. We got it. We got it. We got it. It's here.
We got it. We got it.
All right. So we've got a affordability calculator here, and you said 500,000.
$500,000 house.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. $500,000 house. Let's do 3% down, 15,000 annual taxes of 5,000. Can you see this?
Bro, there's no, nope.
2,230.
They're not
No.
gonna see
Okay.
that.
Well,
They're not gonna see that.
okay. Well, listen. I'll just say it then. I mean, you're looking at $3,600 a month, all in. 3,600 a month. 37. Call it 3,700. So $3,700. You said $140,000 a year.
Yeah.
That's fine. Then. Okay. So 140,000 a year. That is. Let's see. Quick numbers here. Quick numbers. 12. We got $11,700 a month. So right off the bat, $4,000 is gone to the housing expense. You got $7,600 left over. What else comes out of that? I mean, basics, right?
Okay.
So by
So
the time,
did I nail that or what?
yeah, oh yeah, you nailed it. Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, listen, 140, you're qualified for it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But even still, you may not because guess what? That at $106,000, are you making $140,000? What kind of car are you driving?
I was about to say. I was about to say. I was about to say on my end, what I'm seeing as far on the when I pull people's credit, what
Yeah.
I'm seeing as far as car payments are concerned is well over 500 a month. In most cases, closer to 6 or 7, and partially due to interest rates the way they are and have been the last 2 years.
I think the average right now, I think the average number just came out and they're saying car payment average is at 750, if I'm not mistaken. It was like 600 during COVID and it went up to like 750.
According to bankrate.com, 726. You are right on the money.
Bro, come on,
You are
man.
right on the money.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
we know.
Come on,
This is
bro.
what we do. 726 a month, right? You got to save for
Mm-hmm.
retirement. We should have took that off the top because that comes out pre-tax, right? So we should have took that off of the 12 grand. But okay, I mean, so this meme. I wish we could see the meme, but this meme.
You can see it. It's on there
Okay,
on
I
my
mean
side.
this. Yeah, it's is it? I think it's pretty accurate. I mean, you said surviving is 150 to 300 and change.
Yeah, you can't see it, bro. What you need to do is bring up your on. You got one screen or two screens?
I got one screen here. I got one screen over here.
That other screen, bring up your Facebook and you can see what I'm looking at. Or
Ah,
on your eCam, go ahead and hit the top. You see where you are in the bottom? Hit the top. Hit that little flicky button on the bottom, and it'll switch
okay.
your screen up, and you can see what I'm seeing. Like if
Ah,
this
okay.
is why this is why we rehearsed in the beginning. Can you see?
But you know what? Bringing information to the people can't wait. It can't wait. Perfection. It can't wait for perfection.
No, we can't. We can't.
I
So
love
back
your.
back back
Yeah.
to our original point, bro. Did we nail $726 is the average? They can only afford if you're making 140. It's 11 grand a month.
Mhm.
You can only do $4,000 house towards the
Mhm.
house.
Yeah, and this is the affordability crisis in the United States, which has got the Fed's ears up, right, for the last 2 years, trying to fix this
Yeah.
problem. Price control.
What's crazy? Okay, here's the crazy thing about this perception, right? Because if you make $140,000 a year, you're pretty good at your job. And say you
Mhm.
get married, is your wife gonna work?
I wonder what percentage of families in the United States have dual incomes.
I bet you that number's rising.
Absolutely.
I guarantee you that number's rising. I mean, it has no choice based on what we're seeing. Even the data, there's no question. Based on this funny meme, which is almost becoming true. I mean, it's not almost. It is becoming true. It's you know why it's surviving is because of that, right? So it's saying let's get that 140 example, which is super high. Even 120, bro. You're making 120, you're a pretty decent professional. Um,
Mhm.
you want your wife to work. You want your wife to work. How much is daycare? If you're going to live in a good neighborhood where you want good schools, great
Mhm.
schools, how much are you paying for that house?
Mhm.
That 500,000 number, when you see that house at 500,000, it's not going to impress you. It's not because
It's
they're
a, it's a, it's a total change of what you said in the beginning, which was this perception that the six digits, everybody remember, I'm going to make 6 digits. My goal is 6 digits. It's a complete shift in that. It's a complete shift in that. I was reading something the other day. I mean, listen, a lot of, I was going to say us. Listen, I'll admit, a lot of us are on the go and we got to have some fast food every now and then. But I was reading, I was reading how there are certain food
you.
chains that have basically doubled in their cost 100% since COVID. 100%. To me, that's an indicator of all the other things, right? But but yeah, that I mean 100%. Some of them have not gone back down. It's just an indicator. So yeah, I mean you got to shift this whole thing of $100,000 a year is where it's at, not according to this meme. And can you argue with it? I mean,
Okay, Andrew. Me and my wife, we make $220,000 a year.
mhm.
How much house can we afford?
220,000 dollars.
Could you imagine if it's 200?
Right up.
If it's 200,000, 220, if that's a single individual, what person is that?
High
That's a
level professional.
high level professional. That's somebody who's
Yep.
they want the best. They want their kids in private school. They want to be in the best school
Absolutely.
district, or they want the dopest whip. They want the nicest car.
Right.
They want to go on the nicest vacations.
Hmm.
So how much house is that? How much? What are we talking about here? How much house can they afford?
Well, so conservatively, we've got about 9,000 a month to work with as far as debt to income ratio. So if somebody makes 220,000 a year, 45% of their gross income is 9,000 a month. That's gross, but let's not forget Uncle Sam. We all love him, and so you're going to shave that off. So I mean, 9,000 a month. If you're looking at a 500 to $650,000 home, you're at 4,500 right there. And now that's not even factoring in again retirement, all that other stuff. So could you qualify for it? Yes, but are you surviving at that point or not? And that's the whole point of the discussion. So how much house could I afford with that? I mean, if you had no debt, yeah, sure, you could buy the $1 million pack.
And
Okay, there's
now
the
we're getting to the crux of the matter.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're getting to the crux of the matter because you just said it. You're surviving because that house that you want, it's probably around $650,000
Mm-hmm.
in the good school district. How much is $650,000 house a month? What are we talking about here? What is that? You're putting down
70,
5%.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
at $4,600 a month.
5%, yeah, a little more than that, a little more than that. I think we're
More.
pushing. Yeah, I think we're pushing 500. You give me 10 seconds. I mean, I'll come up with it. But yeah, I mean,
Calculator,
it's
calculator where I'll look at this so I can show them what I'm talking about.
sure.
This is my right here is the MLS. This is how I look at properties.
Mm-hmm. That looks like the Matrix to me. Oh, it literally says Matrix.
Real quick, let me do 500 to a million. I love to play. I love to play like this every now and then. You know what I mean? Just
Oh, you got the access.
well, everybody has the access. You go to Zillow now. You could do everything. But let's. I don't know what we want to do. You want to do Lake Nona? Let's do Lake Nona. We make
Like,
we make $200,000 a month. I mean a year, and I want to live in Laureate Park. $200,000 a year. That's a good. I don't know. Nurse anesthetist. Entry level physician maybe. Um, what is that? That's a high level engineer. That's a high
mm-hmm.
level manager slash maybe starting to get into executive ranks. Hey Andrew, I want this house. This is a 3-2, modest 3-2, 2,200 square foot home, $765,000. Man, I hope I'm not boring y'all. Listen, I'm probably boring y'all. It is what it is. I'm talking real estate here. We're going real estate deep right now.
This is real life though. You could be one of the folks that just shows homes all day and that's it. But you always bringing real Orlando things coming. Okay,
So this
real
is
Orlando
dope.
living.
This is dope. Look, I got wood flooring, Andrew. I got 8-foot door frames with an office with French doors. Oh man, bohemian on the inside. This is gorgeous. Look at the huge island. Dated, little dated. Respect to the
Beautiful.
listing
I'm
agent, but
watching
it's
over here.
still
Yep.
nice.
Yeah. But
42-inch
location good.
cabinets.
Yeah.
Look, 42-inch cabinets in Laureate Park, bro. The premier neighborhood. Shout out to the dude who keeps bringing up Hunters Creek, but we're talking about Laureate Park right now. Oh man, I got the gourmet kitchen, Andrew. 700. I'm a professional now. Can I afford this?
60. What's the HOA? Wait. What's the HOA?
That's a good question. Look at you. Look at you.
What's the HOA?
Quarterly 496.
Okay. 496. Okay. So let's do this. 6,300 per month, sir. Let's divide that into income.
Wait. $6,300 per month.
765 purchase price, 5% down.
How much is down payment? How much do I need? How much do I need to?
I did five.
Which means that you're not. Well, here's the thing: you're not a first-time home buyer. I hope you're not a first-time buyer. You're not going to be a first-time home buyer going into this.
Well,
You're typically selling another property, and hopefully you're not paying off a car, or you're not going on a huge vacation, or you're not buying a boat, doing some crazy stuff. But we'll go conservative. We'll go conservative, and I don't know anybody who's doing it like this. By the way, typically they're putting way more money down. So 765.
Agreed. I'll go 20. I can do 20. Let's go 20.
765 at 0.05%. So on the low end, you need 38 grand. $38,250.
That's right. Yep.
Or, which is what usually people do, is 20% because they want to get rid of that PMI, which would be $153,000. So
Shame. Yeah, go ahead.
let's go up to 20. I bought a house. I already started working. Shout out to the people. This is a scenario. I'm looking at you guys. Listen, check this is your scenario right here. I got my house. I got over $200,000 in equity off that thing. But I don't want to spend all the money on the equity. I want to keep some of that because when I get in here, I want to change that countertop. Maybe I do want to pay off my car. You know what I mean? So to come down, I need $153,000. Let's go over the 20% down, Drew.
Can you see that?
5,400.
Straight from the source. By the way, dreams happen on this calculator right here. Okay, we make dreams happen on this calculator right here.
So
But
you're
this is
telling
it.
me I could put 5% down, 40 grand, and it's 62, $150,000, 150,000, which is $110,000 more, and I only go down $800.
That's it right there.
Oh, more. I go down $1,000.
Yeah, $1,000. And this is and so okay, numbers geek here, but this is why there's always a dilemma as to how much to put down and should I put so much down and not. And I think it depends on where you're at in life. So for the viewers here who are early in life, the advice that I've always been given and sometimes give is, what other investments or things do you have in mind or have planned with your money versus putting all your money in your house? Because the impact on a 30-year mortgage to your in your face payment every month is very minimal with large sums of money up front. The rule of thumb is every $10,000 is about $70 a month. So you could put $100,000 more down and only save about $700 a month. Yes, you're saving interest in the long run, but right now I get a little hesitant to tell people to do that because cash is also paying you very well to just have sitting in an account right now. Not to get too technical, I want people falling asleep, but that's the real thing. I mean, there's a misconception that I got to save, I got to have that 20% down, and it's just not reality. And the way PMI is these days, when your credit scores are strong, it's so affordable. You said 20%, by the way, shameless plug here. I meant to say this earlier. We have a program where if you got 740 credit scores and up, and you've got 15% down, we'll pay the PMI for you up front. You don't have it monthly. So
What? Say that again. Slow your roll. Slow your roll.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I get too excited.
Okay.
So if 15% down, 740 credit scores and up, we have a program. It's called Bye Bye PMI. Goodbye. And at 15% down, you don't have to worry about it. We as a lender will pay for it up front. End of story. On conventional loans.
How much is the PMI on something like that a month?
So, PMI, depending on credit score, right? And that's the big factor. But when you're putting 15% down, depending on the price point of the house, you're looking at anywhere from, it ain't much, $50 to $150. It's a PMI factor. It's technical, but basically, it saves you hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. But we pay for it up front because when we pay for it up front, it's discounted. We can wipe it out, and it's our way of making a difference in that space.
So this is crazy. So, Omar, there's no way there's no way I'm gonna spend $150,000, and how about you have to spend $150,000 and then spend another $50,000 to get the house the way you want it?
Like this one here.
Like this one, bro. This is in a really good school district, $740,000. 5-bedroom, 4-bath. I got kids now. I'm making $200,000 a year, or me and my wife are making over $200,000 a year. No disrespect. I'm not throwing shade to the listing because it's a great location. Okay, so to all the agents that are looking at me, I respect the listings, but they're going to want to do something to this. Look at that tile.
Wait a minute. We've all seen HGTV. We've all seen these networks. It's real talk. It's real talk.
Yeah.
As you're shopping, you're factoring these things in as you're looking.
So off rip. If you want to live legit, you're gonna probably knock this breakfast down, make it a flat, or make this a new island. Because this house is built I don't want to look at it. I bet you it's 2006. Oh, dang, I was close. 2001, close. Yeah, but yeah, early aughts. We call them the early aughts. Even at $700,000, it doesn't have the 3-car garage because everybody wants that 3rd-car garage at 700,000.
But
Still don't have
location,
that, but
but it's it.
locations up.
But it's hey, Orlando, Florida, or Oviedo, even better. Schools. I mean, yeah.
So let me know if those numbers we just gave out. If I'm crazy for that, tell me right now. Say, Omar, you're nuts. Who's doing that? I would like to know if you have a different scenario. I would love it if you put it in the comments below. Let me know what you think about this chart. I mean, we just kind of proved it to you because we didn't even go in. Like we could have gone in on your $200,000 a year. You make even $300,000 a year. You got that $700,000 house. You got more kids. You want to do vacations now. Vacations are costing more. You have your taxes are going up because you're being assessed higher. Your insurance is going up because that you have a more expensive roof now. You have more expensive stuff that goes in that house now. Your car payment is through the roof because you're not going to live in that nice neighborhood with the crappy car unless you're frugal. But hey, God bless you. I don't. You and I both know that mommy and daddy need the nice car. This is the real life that we deal with, and this is actually the most exciting part. One of the most exciting parts of my job, man, is being able to like really break this down and help people live the life they truly want to live, bro. Like really get down into the nitty gritty, and when they talk to me, they know, hey, we got an action plan now. We're no longer talking theoretical here. This is how we're doing that. And by the time I get you involved, Andrew, they know it's real. Am I lying?
Right. Yeah, they're ready to go. By
the time I get you involved, we're like, all right, hey, you had a 720. Let's get you to over 740, and your rates go down significantly. We can buy down your PMI.
Right.
Yeah, I love that.
See, in observing you over the years, it's masterful, if you would, as to how you are able to get people prepared for that transition, whether it be getting to their next, their dream home, consolidating and getting, moving into a more simple life. But you really have mastered that. And I've watched it because, again, to your point, when people finally get to me, they're ready to go. They get it. They understand the mission. There's little to do other than get creative with the numbers, which is kind of where I, take over and get, kind of hyper focused on that. But yeah, it's impressive to watch because, when it's one thing to be sitting at home, you and your spouse or just you or whatever, and you're dreaming of these things. It's another thing to now reach out to someone like yourself and start planning this stuff in real life and get hit with some realizations like what we're talking about here, and say, hey, listen, you want to move it. Okay. You want better schools. You want this and that. You're going to have to let's talk about what it costs. Let's have that conversation.
One of my favorite parts of my job not even just my job, but me being me. One of my favorite parts is my clients, my friends texting me and just like, yo, look at this house. How can we make this happen? And then we are going deep into that convo. Like when I'm talking to them, we're texting back and forth on a daily basis. We're going like, hey, bro, one day. And that's every step, right? That's the first time home buyer that's trying to get a townhouse. That's the person that just got the promotion they were waiting on. And then now they want to get that next big house. I love that part too, because you're like, yo, how can I maneuver this? What's the dopest neighborhood? What's the best bang for my buck that I can get here? Mm-hmm. All the way up to the person that's like, yo, I want the sickest house. And even they're still thinking, you think, oh, even that upper three, let's get 300. I got somebody right now, a multimillionaire, we just bought a house, and it just closed on it today, matter of fact, on the water, Merritt Island. He's selling his whole company in California to come here. And even he saw the value in, hey, this is how we're going to make that transition. This is how I'm planning my retirement. Bro, all these life changes, I'm like, man, I love like being a part of that solution, bro. I love bringing all the people involved on figuring that out. Omar, y'all want to live on the lake? Omar, I want to get a jet ski and I want to get on the water. Omar, I want to live on the bay. Omar, how do I get that beachfront property? All right, let's see what's up. Let's see how we could do that. What money do we need to maneuver? Where do I need, bro? So that's,
And
uh,
you know what? You know what? It's crazy because all of that stems from a decision that was made, or even before that, an idea, right? Of oh, okay, I need to become a homeowner. If you really think, I was thinking, literally, I kid you not, on my family, I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking, man, the decision when someone comes to us and says, "Hey, I want to buy a home," the impact of that idea and that decision 20, 30 years from now is is immeasurable. Immeasurable. I mean, I mean, what all the things you just said is exactly. I mean, it's amazing to watch. I mean, I've seen
well, you
even
did
my own.
it. You
I
did
did it. I've done it. I've
it.
done it. I've done it. I've done it. Yeah, and a couple times, like you're. I mean, and it's just incredible to watch how real estate can change someone's life towards what they towards bettering it and towards what they truly want to do. It's amazing. It's amazing. And that's why, and I'll say this, and you've heard me say this many times, we do this right here not because we're in sales business. This is this I mean, listen, this is because we are truly witnesses. You've heard me say it. We are witnesses of what real estate does for families, for people, for their families, even once you and I are gone. What our real estate was going to do for those who are behind us, it's incredible. And because of the way it works in the United States, because of the way our economy works, you know it. It's the amount of assistance that it provides you and those after you is immeasurable. It's amazing. It's amazing, and I won't stop talking about it. We can't stop talking about it. That's why we're out here. Okay, sermon. No,
Listen,
I
man,
love it. I love it. I love it.
it's 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 a competitive advantage that we have in the United States. That's how we're able to get rich. And
Absolutely.
and
Right. Right.
we're not gonna stop talking about it because we see it every day. But it is what it is. But let's go into the our next topic.
Hmm.
So I got a young man that you and I both closed on a property last year. Shout out to you. Again, by the way, we're being as transparent as we can be, but we're also very confidential on our specifics. We don't ever give anybody specific information. We don't. We're very particular on how we bring out scenarios and who we're talking about because there's no confidentiality is so important to me and who I'm working with. But so I love
Real
the
life.
lessons. I love the lessons that we learned from your situation. So if you hear your situation, you be like, yeah, that's me. But no, we're not talking about you out in public. So this right here, we got a young man. He hit me up. He wants to buy a duplex in house hack. He wants the house hack. And he wasn't the only one. I think I had like 3 or 4 reach outs this week when it came to, I got another one, hopefully a listing coming up. Shout out to you guys. I'll speak to you later this evening, probably on Friday. But, they have a rental property and their mortgage payment is higher than their rent payment because they sold, they refinanced. But right now, here's how much more it costs to buy a home versus renting a home in Orlando.
Mm.
So right now, the report showed that typical monthly mortgage payment is higher than the typical monthly rent payment in all 50 of the largest markets in the U.S. On average, there's a difference of 36.6% across the U.S., which means that the median mortgage payment right now is $2,700, and the median rent payment right now is $1,976. I mean, that is a huge statement.
Mm-hmm.
So that's relatively new because during COVID era, it was actually the opposite. The difference was in the other direction, and people were taking out. They were able to buy more rental properties. That's how people were able to get more doors. But now they're coming to me and they're saying, "Yo, I want to buy a rental property." But then in a year from now, you can't sell the property. You're trying to rent it out, and your mortgage payment is higher than the rents that you can collect, and vice versa. Maybe you're saving more money because you would rather rent right now than buy because it costs you more.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this article, Andrew?
I mean, it's real. It's real. During periods of time like this. This is going to happen. This is going to be the reality. Typically, it always is a little bit less expensive monthly. If you're looking at just the monthly, right, it's going to be a little less expensive to own a home. But in times like this, I mean, recessionary periods, you're going to have the situation where because of the interest rates designed to slow things down, that mortgage payment is going to be larger than your rent payment. Now, what's interesting about this is that it's very unique, and in the stream of American economics, if you look back at the whole situation, when you combine the high interest rate plus record appreciation in a short amount of time, that's where you have this right here. That, I mean, even if rates are 7.5, 8%, you shouldn't have it this kind of discrepancy or difference between renting and owning. But the issue is that home values is essentially increased. You probably know the number. I want to say upwards of 40%, sometimes double during COVID or since COVID. So when you add that plus high rates, you get this thing. But it's temporary. It's temporary in nature. That's the key.
So if I were to look at these markets right now, it's saying Miami has one of the highest ratios in Florida at 55.5%, and then Jacksonville is at 44.3%. I don't think ours are that wide. I think ours are a little bit tighter. If I were to guess, which it's not saying Orlando, but it says right here, data showed 33% typical. So we're at 33%.
Mm-hmm.
So the average rent payment is $2,000. The average that's what I'm seeing. Average rent payment is $2,000. Average mortgage payment is $2,700.
Right. But you know what this doesn't see? Like I said earlier, I mean, if you're looking at just the mortgage payment, which, by the way, we as American consumers, we love looking at just the payment. What's my payment? That's how you get stuck when you buy a car, right? You don't care what's on the sheet. The fact that they got you for $5,000 in gap insurance.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it. What's my payment? That's what we want to hear. But anyway, but it's the same principle or same concern when you talk about homes, right? You're not factoring in appreciation. I mean, if you factor in appreciation on this, go ahead and reduce 6% of your home value off of this monthly payment. Now, all of a sudden, that gap gets smaller. I mean, not to get too technical, but those numbers might actually be more in line when you look at the overall situation. And that's, what do we?
So this is just go to show you that yes, what you're feeling is correct. It is cheaper to rent. So when somebody says, hey, is it a good time to buy? Well, it depends. I had a piece of content I put out last year that said that, like, if you're thinking about, if you're just here and you got a year or two, you're thinking between a year or 2 to 3 years on movement and you're not going to be here long, this buying may not be for you. Even 5 years, I'll put you a 5-year gap. If you're going to think about moving, if you're going to get a job somewhere in North Dakota or you plan on going somewhere else, buying may not be for you. But if you're looking to establish roots, if you're looking to be involved in your community, if you're looking to be somewhere to raise children or be somewhere where you're going to be there for a while, I'm going to tell you right now, people who bought during the peak of the last recession, still made more than double their money still to this day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 08, 06, 07, 05, 06.
Correct. 05 was that high peak. 06 was when it was coming back down.
Mm-hmm.
So, and back then we couldn't even fathom. I remember I got back from Afghanistan, bro. And I was looking at $225,000 house, and I was like, who can afford a $225,000 house?
We only dreamed of.
Man. But I just wanted to bring that up. What you're feeling is correct. And I want to wrap this up with a bow tie. Listen, before we get off, Andrew, I want you to give us a mortgage update. I want you to let us know what's going on in the mortgage side.
Man.
I want to know what special products you got right now that are going to help us alleviate some of this, because I know you just told us about one. You just picked us one. Hey, by the way, we'll pay 5%, 15%. We'll pay your PMI. That's huge. So what kind of things you got up your sleeve right now?
Ooh, man. So first of all, I'll start by saying it's been a record-breaking year so far. Last year was my best year yet, personally. And what I
Hmm.
mean by that is I've helped more families. I helped more families last year than ever before. And really, it comes down to getting creative. So, what do I mean by that? Well, you gotta let's back up one thing. You said the other day, or a second ago, people have to do what they have to do no matter what, right? This gentleman called me a few days ago, and he's got a baby, a newborn, crying in the background, and he's got a 1.99% mortgage
Ooh.
rate, and he's calling me going, "Yeah, Andrew, I I love that rate that you refied us to back in 21, but it's time to go. It's time to go. I'm out of room. I'm in a townhome. I got to go." So the point is, sometimes if you're one of those folks that you just have to do this, you got to move,
Hmm.
right? It's time. It's time. And so what happens is, uh, you got to get creative. So here's what's going on in the mortgage industry right now. Rates are higher, and combine that with higher price points, right? Slap in the face from where they were 3 or 4 years ago. You've got to get creative with the financing. So there's things that we can do. All right. There's a lot of free money out there right now. That's the first thing. There's a lot of free money available, and you got to understand what's out there. There's good free money and there's not so good free money, though, and that sounds crazy, but there's there's different aspects of down payment assistance that helps people if you're a first time home buyer. Now, if you're a move up buyer, all right, let's talk about what's available for them. There's still free money out there for you. If you're one of those folks that's surviving, so to speak, and you make 200, 150, 200, $250,000 as a family, a lot of times you're priced out of being able to get some sort of assistance, even as a first time home buyer. Well, guess what? We've got a program. It's called CCM Community Promise. It's a $6,500 grant of free money. It's a grant. So it's not a loan on your house, a second mortgage, or anything like that. It is truly assets available by Fannie Mae to help you buy. Now, we'll add a free appraisal to that. And I've been doing that a lot for people. And why not? I mean, that money can be used as a down payment, but say you're qualified well, say you have a bunch of equity, or excuse me, cash available, you can use it towards, buying down your rate or making your payment lower for 2 years. So there's different things that we can do, but I don't want you to feel left out if you're well qualified. And believe it or not, a lot of people fall out of that assistance or any sort of perks because they make too much money, or felt like they owned a home 4, 5, 6 years ago and now they don't qualify. You're a first time home buyer if you haven't owned a home in the last 3 years. So for all of you guys who
Say
might have,
say that again. Say that again, and roll that back. Run
yeah,
that back.
yeah, yeah. So you are a first time home buyer
Mm-hmm.
again if you have not owned a property in 3 years. Okay, so that means people that were going into COVID, maybe even during COVID, lost their home, decided to sell it, whatever it was, to get out. They're going to be coming up soon on an opportunity to be a first time home buyer again. Okay. So the other thing is, there's a mechanism designed within lending, embedded in lending. There are mechanisms that are designed for times like this, and
Okay.
people don't understand this. Sellers, and maybe you could speak to this a little bit, but sellers are having to get a lot more motivated to help buyers buy their home, right? I mean, if you're a buyer and you're staring at that Lake Nona home for $765,000, and you're looking at that $6,000 mortgage payment or $5,000 mortgage payment, you may say, that's a little. I could use an extra $500 off of that. Well, what I've been able to help people facilitate, including our clients, is using that seller motivation to allow sellers to help the buyer buy. So there's different things we can do with that money. We can not just pay closing costs. That's easy, right? I mean, that part is easy. But we can use it to better the monthly obligation. So we can use it to pay PMI. Even if you're putting 3% down, you can have your PMI paid for upfront, and it not be on behalf of the seller, and it not be factored in at all on your monthly payments. Gone. You can buy
What?
down your rate permanently. You can, and you can buy your rate down permanently. You can buy your rate down temporarily. This is probably the most popular option. To put it in simplest terms, right now, if you buy a home and the seller's willing to give you a little bit of cash to help you buy their home, you can take that cash and spread it out over 1, 2, or 3 years to greatly reduce your mortgage payment by 1, 2, or 3%. It'll feel like your mortgage rate is 1, 2, or 3% for 1, 2, or 3 years. And so that buys you time to feel comfortable, right? And also allow the interest rates to do what they're doing and then eventually come down. And now you're in a situation where, you can refinance and you're fine.
So I'm gonna let you sell that. You know what I hear when I hear that? I hear, hey, but you better be good with your money because that payment is gonna go up eventually, and nobody ever is waiting for that to go up.
The first thing that I always hear when I bring that up is I don't
Rebut.
want a variable mortgage. I don't
Tell
want a
me where
variable
I'm
mortgage.
wrong.
No, no, you're right. I mean, people immediately go, whoa, 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 I don't want a variable mortgage. And I say, no, no, no. It's a fixed mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It is still a fixed rate mortgage. The principal and interest is locked. This is not 2006 where we're saying, hey, we'll get you in a nice little payment up front. And then
Mm-hmm.
because you still have to qualify, we still have to qualify the borrower on the full payment. So they should still be comfortable when that full payment hits if they never refinance in 12 months, 24 months, 36 months. So the thing is, you got to be comfortable with that full payment, and we'll have that discussion. Hey, how do you feel about this payment, even without the buy down? But then let's take some of that seller cash, that seller motivation, and we're going to help the buyer by dropping that payment down. That's actual cash in people's pocket. That's going to help them to feel more comfortable about buying, and then hopefully by then they'll get raises and things like that
Is this
to be
chart
even more
right?
comfortable. Today's mortgage interest rate. Let's see. What's the source on it? Bank rate. Do this. Do me a favor. Type today's interest rates. You'll get a more accurate breakdown. If you literally type today's interest rates, I always tell my borrowers to do this because it is
So today's
far
in
more accurate.
what and where do I go?
That's it. So you hit that, and then Google will populate a chart. If you scroll down. Why is it not populating on yours? Oh, maybe I need to change my speech. Um, it should
So
populate right there on Google, but accurate.
today's.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're telling people to do this and it's not coming up.
Well, I do it with them on the phone, and it usually does. Today's interest rate
Oh,
usually.
there it
Oh,
is. There
today's
it is.
mortgage rate. Today's mortgage rate. Yeah, yeah. Mortgage. Sorry, today's mortgage rates. That's what you got to put.
Does
So
this,
when you put in today's mortgage rates, you'll get a chart, and I got a little lag here on my end, so you might already have it up here. But when you get that today's mortgage rate chart up, then you can manipulate, how much of a loan amount, how much of an interest rate, and kind of see. And it's a day behind on Google, but that's a great indicator of how rates are moving. But what I want people to understand, Omar, real quick, what I want people to understand is that when you look at the interest rate online, you can't. That is not what your interest rate could be. Simply put. Simply put, for example, this is factoring in averages across a ton of different data points.
mm-hmm.
Brokers, direct lenders, jumbo loans. There's so many things. But listen, this is what's crazy. If you're a first time home buyer, let's put this perspective. If you're a
Mm-hmm.
first time home buyer and you have a 680 credit score, and you qualify for what's called a Home Ready program, which is Fannie Mae's program where they look at, say, okay, if you make less than 80% of the median income for your area, you will get the absolute best interest rate pricing available from the investor. You will get the same interest rate available as someone that has an 850 credit score with 40% down, which is what we consider a perfect borrower. Okay. So if you're looking at this, you may be staring at a 7.5 like you're looking at here, but in reality, you might be able to get a 7% because you fall within a certain bracket of that. Now, I said median income, but the truth is, I've got borrowers who make under 100% that still will qualify for that. And then this community promise program that I mentioned earlier, that program, there is no income limit on that program. So you can make 200,000 a year, be putting only 3% down, and your credit score is 680, but you're still going to get the same interest rate as someone with an 850. The point is, I don't want people to get caught up in trying to figure out what their rate's going to be on their own. They need to reach out to you and then reach out to me, and we're going to figure out a situation based on their personal situation.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact because I'm bringing up all this bad news here, but we have people that we shout out. Who I'm talking to. Shout out to you. I'm gonna be talking to you tomorrow more in depth. But You brought him from the depths. He thought it was impossible. You say, hey, man, actually, we got a couple of them like that. Hey, just do this, this, and this. And all of a sudden, what happened to their credit score? Boop, 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 boop. Bro,
Absolutely.
he called me like, I am the king. I am the king. I was
That's facts. That's facts.
yeah.
We put people on plans. We put people on plans of all walks of life, so to speak. So all walks of credit life. So you might have a 720, but it makes sense to get to a 780. We'll make that happen. That's part of what we do. I am not too busy. I have a team, a phenomenal team behind me who can help me to stay out of some of the weeds so I can still offer this type of in-depth, specified, individualized advice to people. And I love doing it. I mean, it makes such a huge difference. It's not just about the numbers.
Well, listen, Andrew, we've talked, we've conquered, we've gone over what it takes to survive in this current market. I showed the good, bad, the ugly. I went as real Orlando as you can get. I went into some real life scenarios. We talked about some real life things that are happening to people right now in just about every bracket. And I hope we brought you value. And Andrew, man, I appreciate you for really coming on here and really showing your expertise. And if people need to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
Wow. So yeah, I mean, here on YouTube, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook now. So on the tube, it's Home Loan at Home Loan Drew. You got my cell phone number here, 407-490-6448. That is my office. So you're welcome to
Slow that down. What was that number
all right, yeah.
again?
407
Yeah.
490 6448.
Okay.
That is my cell. Text me, call me, at Home Loan Drew on Instagram. And I think it's at Home Loan Drew on Facebook as well. So yeah, that's the best way to get a hold of me. And then we'll start creating a plan and get you out there shopping with Omar.
Hey, man. Again, thank you, bro. Thank you. On a personal note, thank you for all the stuff that you're doing, man. I see what you're doing. All the healthcare workers, all the veterans that we help support in this community. I see what you actually do. You know, when you're helping these folks and that you're helping them accomplish their goals. So, kudos to you. I hope Karima and the kids are good. God bless them.
Thank you.
Listen,
Thank
man. I look forward to the next one. Hopefully, I can bring you on and it's a banger.
We'll be back. For you that are watching, we'll be back for you. This is what we do. My wife, you mentioned Karima. I mean, my wife, your wife, they sacrifice time with us so we can bring this information to all of you out there. So thank you for allowing me to be here. And for those watching, thanks for tuning in. And please spread the word. Spread the word. You guys hear people out there that are in need of this advice. Let them know to tune in to Omar.
All right, guys. Next week, same time, same week. I mean, same day of the week. So take care. Bye.
Good night.